But we have another crypto celebrity joining us now. So all is well. Phillip Nunn has over 15 years of experience in financial services and specializes in wealth management, angel investment, commercial property investment, and financial technology. He founded the Blackmore Group in 2013 and is one of the best-known online influencers in the blockchain and crypto space. Phillip will be launching his own crypto fund soon that looks into investing into ICOs along with existing blockchain technology companies. Phillip Nunn, welcome to the summit, and the stage is all yours.
Hi there, good evening Anya, thank you, and yeah, it's nice to join you guys. How's everything going?
Phillip, can you tell us a bit about yourself for starters?
Yeah, so good. I am, obviously I'm Phillip Nunn. I am an advisor to SportyCo. I'm a UK and European crypto and blockchain influencer. I have a very large online following and I work with lots of ICOs, institutions. I'm also working with several hedge funds and blockchain private banks that have launched. So yeah, that's really me.
As a prominent crypto insider, can you give us some insights what the future holds for blockchain and crypto?
I think this year's been really interesting so far. And obviously we had all of the hoo-ha and absolute chaos and astonishment at Bitcoin almost hitting $20,000 a coin back in December, and I think everybody thought the gold rush was here, and you know, everything's going crazy and it's here to stay, and the banks are going to collapse, and crypto's this and crypto's that and crypto's the other. And obviously what was discovered at that point was a lot of the money coming into the market was people just buying on hype, and it just got a bit silly, and I think sort of the whole industry got ahead of itself. And I think that's the case with quite a lot of aspects of the industry as we sit today. The reason I say that is, you know, we have under a $500 billion market cap currently as we sit, and you know, that's minuscule if you actually look at the whole, even of the financial markets of the world. How much money is in circulation? It's over $200 trillion. So which is really sort of perspective in one sense, in that, as that, you know, it's a very small industry, but actually we've taken in almost $500 billion as a market cap for this thing. And just imagine a world where crypto takes 5% of those other assets. If you talk about gold and stocks and shares and bonds and things like that, if cryptocurrency and the movement takes those sorts of levels of growth, then it's just going to be, the hockey stick will be incredible. But as with anything, a new industry, this will happen with gold, this happened with the move from gold to paper money. The most recent similarity we've seen was the .com, where it was impossible to lose money in tech companies. And then actually the whole thing came collapsing down around everybody's ears in spectacular fashion, which was sort of a shock to the system at that time. But actually what was born of that, and the main thing that happened off the back of that, was the internet and the advent of the commercial internet of information. And this has been, for me, the biggest single revolution that happened to the world. The fact that we can exchange data with each other online. It makes the world a lot smaller. We can communicate. It's globalized everything. Now, I think if you look at the sort of three things that have changed the world profoundly and are going to change the world. So the internet was the first sort of globalization in terms of making the world one place, whereby we could all exchange values, ideas, and information with each other. But obviously that's very different to what the blockchain movement is. The second was the advent of the smartphone, which has just been incredible, and which has really spawned like the social movement. So things like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, which have just become enormously valuable businesses, because everything's all about data and how people behave and how people live their lives, which is magnificent. And then the final thing that's going to happen now is we're going to move very, very quickly into this internet of value, where what the blockchain does, as opposed to everything being centralized in one place, it creates this secure way for people to be able to send money to each other without an intermediary or a middleman in the way. So I could send money to a chap in China now via something like Litecoin. I could send him $10,000 or the equivalent of in Litecoin, and he would have that in the next 10 minutes. And there'd be minimal transaction fee, nothing messing around, nothing else. So we could create that business without anything in the middle, which is just so powerful. And this is going to have a real profound effect on the world, and it's going to change the way that the whole world works. So this is like the internet of value, and where the real profound thing comes here, I don't think particularly it's going to impact governments initially. Governments will be governments, and I think currencies will still be currencies. I think fiat currency will diminish in terms of its value, in terms of how much we use of fiat currency. I believe it's at $70 trillion now. I think it could potentially reduce to $30 trillion or $40 trillion. And I think replacing that will be people transacting value with different cryptocurrencies. Obviously, Bitcoin is kind of the big daddy, and that's the one that is kind of the forerunner. But actually, I think Bitcoin is probably going to be more of a store of value. So there's going to be different currencies that people use when they go to restaurants, or when they send international payments, or when they're online and buying things from things like Amazon. And you'll see in the news that's just happening this week, obviously, that Facebook have come out and said that they're now building a full blockchain strategy. And I think they were anyway. My feeling is this is sort of a PR piece based on the fact that Zuckerberg's had a load of trouble of late. So they brought the guy from Coinbase in. I mean, just imagine Facebook coin and the power of that. I mean, because I could see a future for Facebook that does not look very good at the moment. And I think Mark Zuckerberg and his team have latched onto this. So where do I see the market going now? I mean, a lot of my work is with sort of institutions and banks and people in more of the traditional world, in the corporate world. And where I see it going this year is I think that a lot of banks by the end of 2018 will be rolling out and implementing blockchain strategies. And via third parties or via themselves, they will be investing in this technology, and not only for the benefit of their own futures. I know a lot of people have done deals with people like Ripple already and a few of the other altcoins out there. But I think what you'll start to see is that, much like 10, 15 years ago, when China was the new big thing to invest in, and pension funds and ETFs sprung up, and emerging market funds where 5% of people's portfolios were held in these things, that will become crypto. Because these guys cannot ignore the fact that thousands and thousands of percent of returns have been gained from these wonderful new companies. And obviously with it comes risk, but I think they will have some exposure to it. So for me, very much the future now. I predicted on Sky News a couple of weeks ago that cryptocurrency has the potential to have a $2 trillion market cap by the end of this year. And I think that it will be much of a diversification away from simply just financial services, which is magnificent and plays right into what SportyCo have achieved and what they're trying to do, because these guys have, us guys, I'm with the team, we have a platform, it works, it's in beta phase, we're listed on exchanges, there's liquidity there are big partnerships in place, and as the industry grows and more interesting capital comes into the market, they're going to be looking for the companies that aren't just an ICO. They're going to be looking for guys that have got, a year track record in crypto, and a successful year with some profit on the balance sheet is a real long time, and that makes you an interesting proposition. So I predict that the next 12 months will be diversification over many, many different industries, which is already happening. I think what you'll also start to see are medium cap companies entering the market. So companies that are listed on main market exchanges who aren't able to go out and raise capital in the traditional sense anymore, because they're not able to turn to the banks. The VC money is very stifling and strangling. So they'll be looking for ways to leverage their brands via this decentralized, tokenized way of working. That's definitely going to happen this year. So yeah, and as I said, finally, the bigger institutions and players will enter the market. Goldman Sachs have just come out and suggested they're going to come into the market very, very soon. So a really exciting year ahead. Anyone who's sort of looking to get into crypto, it's a very unregulated, risky, dangerous industry, but it's exciting. So just put in a little tiny bit that you speculatively can afford to lose. Don't do anything silly. And just the key is learn about it.
Philip, your background is finance. Do you see crypto primarily as a financial product, or do you think all industry can leverage the blockchain for a competitive advantage?
So on the first question, do I see crypto as primarily a financial product? Absolutely not. So I think with cryptocurrency, obviously the biggest disruption area that we've seen so far was with currency, in terms of Bitcoin becoming a challenger currency to the old establishment and this centralized way of working. And I think post the financial crisis, people got to a point where they'd had enough, and this movement was born out of that. And I believe the guys that founded Bitcoin very much were waiting for that moment. So where we are today is obviously Bitcoin now has, and the cryptocurrency industry has a substantial market cap, but actually in terms of the size of the financial services industry, it's very small. So it's going to continue to grow and continue to strengthen. Now, what's become absolutely apparent